following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Welcome to Fairy Tale Access. Together, we will unravel the heroes, young and old, who turn dreams into reality. These are the people who still believe in fairy tales. Hi, welcome to Fairy Tale Access. Today, my guest is Steve Heimsath, and his company is called Trash Can Willys. We're going to find out all about that. Hi, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure, definitely.
So tell me a little bit about how you came up with the name for your company.
Sure, there was a lot of thought that actually went into the name of the company, Trash Can Willys. At the time when I started it, it was intended to just be kind of a side job type of thing, not anything that I thought was going to grow. I was already running a business at the time, and I wanted to kind of.
I'm sorry, was it a comparable business?
No, not at all. It was internet marketing. It was an internet marketing firm. So I thought about it. I thought about it for 2-3 weeks. I wanted to have a fun type of name. Mm-hmm. I was in no rush. The phone was ringing very periodically, very infrequently. I'd get like one job a week or something like that. Excuse me. So, I took my time. I wanted to make it fun. And back in the day, there was a show called Crank Yankers, and it was basically a group of guys that were making prank phone calls. It was on Comedy Central maybe 10, 15 years ago. And one of the characters' names was Junkyard Willie. And he used to talk like this, and he made prank phone calls to people, and I absolutely loved the guy. I thought it was hilarious. And he ended up kind of getting wrapped into the name. It went from Junkyard Willys to Trash Can Willys. I ran it past a few friends and my wife, and everybody loved it, so we ran with it. And we get it all the time. Customers absolutely love the name, so
really?
I'm really glad that I picked it.
Do you use that accent every time you go out?
Sometimes when I'm feeling a little squirrely, I'll answer the phone like that. If a customer calls in, I'll be like, Trash Can Willie, how can I help you? And, I'll show up to like a professional estimate, and they're expecting some biker-looking guy with like a beard down to here and suspenders and stuff, and I show up and,
You're not quite as rednecky as you sound.
I'm not quite as rednecky, correct, yeah. I'm not Junkyard Willie, I'm Trash Can Willie.
Trash Can. That's so cute. Now, you do pickups in New Hampshire and Massachusetts now?
Correct, New Hampshire and Massachusetts. Depending upon the size of the job, I mean, if it's a whole house clean out, we'll travel up to the lakes region, we'll go out to the coast, we'll go, 75 miles if we're filling up a full truck. For the smaller size pickups, obviously, we can't drive 75 miles to pick up a big screen television because the costs just don't outweigh and work out on the bottom line. But we try to make ourselves available to, large bank-owned properties, corporate properties, foreclosure, eviction cleanouts, as well as the little old lady, 20 minutes away that has a TV that she needs help with getting rid of. We try to make ourselves available to pretty much every size pickup, but usually our radius is about 30 miles on average.
Wow. And you're advertised as a green company. So what does that mean?
Boy, there's a lot that goes into green, to being a green company. I think it's kind of a bandwagon-y thing. Nowadays, everybody wants to call themselves green, but not everybody really is. I mean, recycling aluminum cans in the break room doesn't exactly qualify you, I think, in my mind at least, as a green company. We have that mindset, and we take it into the job every single day. The entire crew has a green mindset. When I say a green mindset, every single thing that we can possibly recycle, we do. If we go out and pick up a full truck's worth, there's so many different avenues to recycle the items that we're actually picking up. And I think that is the fundamental basis for calling us a green company. Everything that we pick up, we try our very best to recycle. And it's cost effective too. It's not only good for the environment, From a cost perspective, it just makes sense for us because the more things that we're able to recycle for less, for free, or get paid for, it's less cost at the dump when we tip the scales. So to kind of elaborate on different things that we recycle, metal is one huge thing that we recycle. Last year we recycled probably about 300,000 pounds of different types of metal: aluminum, copper, steel, iron.
Wow.
Yeah, which is something to be proud of.
That is. That's
Yeah.
huge.
And then we also do our very best to recycle furniture that isn't exactly ready for the dump yet. We work with the Epilepsy Foundation, Salvation Army, Goodwill, and we'll drop the furniture off there for them as well, so that the needy in the community can make well use of them. We also take in furniture that may have value, and we'll resell that to make our profit and save basically the customer on the pickup costs. If we charge them less and we can sell the item, then we make our profit there. The customer saves, we still make the same amount of money, and it's cost effective all the way around.
So do you have a huge storage place?
Yeah, we do. We do. Sometimes it's not as cleanly looking as I'd like it to be. We've got about 3,000 square feet of warehouse area that we utilize to the maximum capacity possible. I've always got the landlord beating on my door, Steve, when are we going to get rid of these TVs? But, back to the green premise, there's a lot of things that we do beyond just recycling metal, beyond just donations, beyond selling valuable items. If a piece of furniture comes in, we also have a woodworking station inside of our storage facility.
Oh, really?
And we'll upcycle the furniture. If it's a couch that's maybe dated, we'll go out, we'll buy new cushions for it at another thrift store, put them on to give it a little bit more of a modern look. So we get a little crafty with some of the stuff that we pick up as well.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, in
So-
order to make it a little more appealing.
How many people are on your team to get all of this stuff
Yeah,
done?
yeah, we're busy bees. I do a lot of it. We have 2 full-time crews, 2 full-time road crews, 3 box trucks, a warehouse manager, 4 part-timers, 3 trailers, 2 pickup trucks, and quite a bit of equipment to get everything facilitated. So.
Wow, so you're ready. So if a realtor needed you, they could call you to
Yeah,
clean out a
yeah.
house or stage a house?
Sure, yeah. We have several different relationships set up with local realtors that they can come into our warehouse and get staging materials, furniture, and what have you. We never are at a loss for furniture or anything like that. And you would be surprised the stuff that people find in our warehouse. Sometimes we're so busy that we're not able to sort it, and we just know that it's good stuff, so we put it in the warehouse, and then when we open our doors for a sale once a week, people are like diving through boxes and
Oh, but where is the sale? What town is this warehouse in?
it's North Londonderry. It's about 2 miles south of the Manchester airport, and they've realized that we don't sort through everything and cherry pick. I do as much as I can, but I'm just one person running the business that has like 5 different side businesses basically attached to it: the recycling end of things, the upcycling, the selling, the donating, and then we also remove junk cars. So,
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah, we do quite a bit. I'm pretty busy.
Wow, so who's the creative person behind redesigning furniture or anything that comes in?
It's really a group collaborative effort. My staff loves working for Trash Can Willys, and it's because it offers change every day to them. Number one, I treat my employees like family. Number 2, they're given the freedoms to come in and use the facility when they'd like to. And, a couple of them have been carpenters before. So they like to come in and, restain some furniture in order for us to sell it. And then once we sell it, then they split it 50-50 with me, and I cover all the costs. So if we get in a kitchen table that's got white marks all over it, Chris will go out, get the stain, fix all the white marks, make sure that it's pristine, make it look pretty again, and then when we sell it for, a discounted rate, something that you would find at like a consignment store for like $450, we're selling it for like $180.
Wow.
And he also has the drive to do that because he splits the profit with the company. So
That's fantastic.
yeah, and then some of the guys have mechanic experience. So some of the junk cars that we bring in, they're not really junk cars. To give you an example, we picked up a 2000 Dodge Stratus not too long ago. And the couple, they had no need for it. It was sitting in the driveway for like 2 years, unmoved. And they weren't sure what was wrong with it. Comes to find out that all it needed was a battery. And putting a battery in it just consisted of taking off the front tire, a little bit more laborious than changing your average battery. So we took the wheel off. One of the guys that had mechanic experience replaced the battery. It cranked right up. It had a hole in the exhaust, so we welded the exhaust and, took a car that we were able to pay them over scrap value for because I could see the diamond in the rough, that after we fixed a few things, that we could sell it for a good profit. So regular scrap yards probably would have given them like somewhere between like $225 and $275 for the car. We gave them $400 for the car. We took the car in, and after all costs were covered, we sold the car for a certain amount of profit. And that's the way it works, giving our customers the most bang for their buck, the most value,
Right.
and then working a little bit harder than most other junk removal companies and finding the profit, the diamond in the rough.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So you're picking trash cans to whole new heights.
Yeah, I guess. I honestly am looking to rapidly expand the company because of the different approaches that we take to everything in saving the end customer, because no other junk removal companies do this. They come out, they charge you a flat rate, they take it away, and they either donate the stuff or throw it away. We come out, if we see that we can make value somewhere else, we reduce the cost. Typically, we're 25-30% less than our competitors. Then, if there's anything of value that they're getting away that we can try to make work for them, then the discounts could be like phenomenal. I mean, they could end up getting a free junk removal,
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So for the person who thought they could sell everything on Craigslist and then decided that it wasn't the hobby for them, they could call you to pick up everything.
That's correct.
Or that-
And sometimes we even will give money back to them. It as long as we're making a profit, we're not greedy, and as long as we're keeping things out of the landfills, if it works to their benefit, and if it looks like it's going to benefit us, then we'll even give money to the customer and take away their junk. There's a lot of situations that you run across in this business that it just makes sense to do business with us. Couples getting divorced, as unfortunate as it may be of a situation, you have to go into
Well, they're
meeting
both
with the
down.
customers with some
Right.
empathy.
Right, and downscaling.
Things are bad enough for them. And the last thing they want to hear is from one of our competitors that it's going to cost $700 to take away the dining room set that a year ago they spent $1,500 for. So in those situations, it works to their benefit that they contact us.
So is that almost set up like a consignment basis?
It's not really a consignment. It's we have a good understanding of fair market value. When we look at a clock or a chair, we know what we can sell it for. We know how long it's going to take and what we're going to be able to sell it for. So the way we do it is say that we'll basically give them half the value up front off the cost of the removal. So if we give them X as the final price for the junk removal and something we can sell for, Y, we'll 50% the Y and take it off the X.
Oh, good.
You know what I mean? And that just works out to cost savings and benefits for our customer. And we still are making the same amount of profit off the job. It's just by
So
doing a little
potentially,
bit more work,
so
selling it.
potentially the pickup could be free for the customer, is that correct?
Free as well, or them
And get
actually
many-
getting money back in some certain situations.
What a deal.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, it's
awesome.
a great deal, and that's why I'm looking to rapidly expand the company, because there's not that type of solution out there. You know, it's kind of like the Wild West. Nobody, it's not regulated, you know, and people aren't aware that this type of avenue is available to them because most junk removal companies don't make it available to them.
Is there anything that you don't pick up? Because there, on your website, there is just a huge list of the type of, I guess, other people's junk, somebody else's,
Sure,
fries.
we can pretty much pick up anything.
anything? What about paints and things like that?
We can't, what we do is, if you have paint, here's a tip. If you ever have paint that you need to get rid of, go to Walmart, get a bag of kitty litter, pop the tops, pour in kitty litter, stir every other day, keep the tops off, and it'll dry out. And then once the can's dry, you can treat it pretty much like regular trash.
Oh, really?
Unless it's an oil-based. If it's an oil-based, we can't transfer it because we're not licensed for hazmat.
Okay. Is
But
there,
most towns have, you know, a regular pickup that, or drop-off day of hazmat, maybe twice a year, that you can drop off hazardous materials such as paints and stains and things of that nature, gasolines, oils. But that's pretty much the only thing that we can't take. If it
you pick
explodes,
up,
we
like-
can't take it.
well, can you pick up lawnmowers or old
Oh,
lawnmowers?
yeah, I
things
mean,
like
the
that?
list is endless. Anything basically in your house that doesn't explode, we can take.
That's good.
Yeah,
That might be scary.
yeah.
And your service areas, I mean, it's extremely long. There is at least 50 different cities that you go to.
Oh, yeah, like I said, we're based out of Manchester, New Hampshire. We're looking to open a new branch, nudging a little bit further south, maybe based out of Tewksbury, that we'll be handling somewhat into Boston. That branch will encompass like a 20-mile radius. And our current branch in Manchester, New Hampshire, it covers like about a 40-mile radius. Wherever it stops making sense to us and stops making sense to a customer, as far as, you know, the little old lady that lives on the seacoast, we're not going to charge her $150 to pick up a television. I'm just going to tell her, unfortunately, ma'am, we just can't service you. It doesn't make sense. I
Right.
would have to charge you so much because of all the costs that go into
Just
running
sending
this
the
type
driver,
of company.
right,
Yeah, I mean,
and time and
workman's comp and insurance and labor and gas and advertising, it just, you know, it wouldn't make sense for them. So we just, you know, steer the business elsewhere.
wow. And your internet experience must have really helped you design this website.
Oh, it was huge. I'm in the process of actually building another website for the company. This original website, you know, it started with the company, the one that we have right now. So it's still got like a fun, wacky base to it. You know, some of the diction and text and conversation kind of ebbs and flows a little bit more so on the casual fun side than, you know, than we would like to have at this point. You know, the company's expanding and we're thinking about possibly franchising, incorporating and, you know, expanding into other cities, other states even. And so I'm kind of redoing the website to make it a little bit more formal, because right now it's really informal to where, you know, it'll be like Trash Can Willys will come out himself and look at your stuff and, you know, give you the best price that he had. And we're just trying to make it, unfortunately, a little bit more polished. So,
Oh, well, that's always okay.
yeah.
What do your kids think of it? Do you have
It's
several, right?
really, really funny. I have a 3, a 4, and a 10-year-old. And the 3-year-old and the 4-year-old, my 10-year-old, she's off in her own land. She isn't thinking about it. But my 3 and 4-year-old, you know, they always goof around like, oh, Trash Can Willys is coming home. And the family goofs about it. And, you know, the friends goof about it. Like, Oh, Trash Can Willys here. Trash Can Willie can do it. Everybody can. Nobody can do it but Trash Can Willie. Like I have a silver tongue, I guess, and the silver tongue has now been tagged Trash Can Willie, my altered ego.
I know how you feel as the head fairy that happens.
But yeah, my daughters, they'll pretend to answer the phone, Trash Can Willys, and it's so cute.
Oh, that is adorable.
Yeah.
So you should put like all those family dynamics in a cute little video.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. The new website is also going to be a lot more socially based, so showing, the inner workings of the company and the fun stuff that we get to do. So every day is really an adventure.
It sounds like that.
I don't feel like I'm working. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be able to handle the amount of workload that I have if I felt like I was working. You know what I mean? Like I wake up every day and I'm excited to go to work because every day is different. Every day is fun.
Absolutely. What's the coolest thing that you found unexpectedly?
Boy.
Or the weirdest?
Yeah, that's a hard question to answer because I would say probably once a week something really, really cool turns up. Like this week we got a pristine beaver top hat. It's made of beaver hair, fur,
Right.
whatever you refer to beavers having.
Okay.
And it's a top hat from the 1830s.
And it's made of beaver as a top hat?
Yeah, and
That
it was
sounds
it
wicked.
was absolutely mint condition, and it even came in the custom carrying case for it.
Wow.
And it's funny. Like my friends, my family, my wife, they're always just completely shocked at some of the things that I tell them that people throw away. It's unbelievable. It truly stands to be true that one man's trash is another man's treasure. I am a
Absolutely.
living, spitting image of that. I mean,
Well,
half
have you
the stuff
used-
in my house,
That's
the
my
truck
next
that I
question.
drive, like probably 75, 80% of the things that I own have come from this job over the last 5 years.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, beautiful furniture sets. I mean, if I talked about it a little bit before, how well we work out in a situation to where, unfortunately somebody's going through a divorce, but also like you also have to think about estate cleanouts when people pass on, corporate companies that go under, foreclosures, evictions. I mean, some of the stuff that's left behind and that's being wheeled out. I mean, we did a job for a company that was downsizing and they had to get rid of these printers. We did the job at no charge, and come to find out after we're done, some of the printers were worth $2,000-$3,000, and there were like 6 of them.
Wow.
Yeah, so
So that makes it worthwhile.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
helps you so
yeah.
that you can continue to do this.
yeah, I would have never thought if somebody would have told me 10 years ago, you're going to be running a junk removal company, I would not have believed them. And
But it's so much more. I mean, it's
I'm blessed. I truly am. It's
well, you're practicing being green and recycling. I mean, it's so much
taking
more than
every
a
step
junk-
that we can to help and benefit everything that we touch. The environment, our customers, friends and family, like
So what about printers and computers? Are there parts to it at least that if they're not working that you can recycle parts?
believe it or not, some computers have gold in them.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the amount of gold and to get to the gold kind of offsets the cost versus the labor.
Right.
It's pretty intensive, but we do have, I go out and I aggressively seek out alliances and partnerships with other companies in the community that we can work together on, donating and making it green and making it work for everyone. So, other junk removal companies may charge you additional costs for air conditioners to be picked up, televisions, refrigerators are big because if the freon within an air conditioner and a refrigerator isn't drained properly, it goes out into the air, and that affects the ozone layer. And the EPA, if they find out about it, you're getting smacked with a $10,000 fine if it's not being taken care of properly. So we've set up alliances with air conditioning companies and metal recycling yards that bring in air conditioning companies to properly dispose of this, and doing it free of charge. Therefore, we can save the customer on the front end that they don't have to pay, an extra $25, $50 to get rid of an air conditioner or a refrigerator.
Right.
Televisions, there's a huge amount of parts inside a television that can be recycled. Most junk removal companies don't go to the extent that I went to in order to form those alliances, so they have to charge customers extra to take care of televisions and monitors, computer monitors, and so on and so forth. But whereas with us, it's free, so that savings doesn't get taken in-house, it gets passed on to the customer, breaking down the customer's cost as much as possible to save them as much as possible and still saving the environment at the same time and somehow pulling a profit out of it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And to have several employees, that's unbelievable. So you recycle everything.
I would, not everything, because
But
I mean,
as
if we
much as
pick up like,
possible.
old rotted wood or tear down a shed that's comprised of completely
Oh, you do
rotted.
that too?
Yeah, we do demolition. Pretty much if there's anything that either a company or a residence needs, they need gone, we can take care of it as long as it doesn't explode.
Okay.
So like garages and sheds, we tear down those as well. We'll cut them up, we'll put them into our trucks, and we'll take them away.
Nice.
And so, not everything, like I was saying, can be recycled. So unfortunately, yes, we do have a corporate account at the local dumping facility, and yes, we do go there every day. But out of a typical standard 17-foot box truck, which is what we use, I would say out of that full box truck, depending upon the day, we could be recycling up to half of that, which is good.
That is good.
Yeah. On an average, it's half.
So if somebody wanted to form an alliance or if customers need to call you, which I'm sure there'll be a lot now.
I hope so.
There should be.
It's a really slow time of the year, and
In the winter?
it drives me nuts when I'm driving down the road close to our neck of the woods and I see one of our competitors' trucks driving by, because I know the customer paid too much and they should have called us.
I think you should always double check and get at least a couple of quotes.
Yeah, I mean, that's a smarter thing to do. But when somebody also calls into us, the conversation, they might be in a hurry. They might not be able to delve into the conversation enough to know what kind of savings that we're going to offer. Or I always under-promise and over-deliver. I don't want anybody left feeling like they were taking. So I'm always going to under-promise and over-deliver. So I might make it more grim-sounding over the phone, and then the crew shows up, and they see where we can get the discounts, actually seeing the load,
Right.
and then the savings kicks in. But any time I drive past a competitor in my neck of the woods that I service it, sometimes I honk, sometimes I stick out my tongue. That's the
No
Trash
wonder you
Can
get
Willys
along
in me.
good with the 3 and 4-year-old. So if people need to contact you, what's the best way to contact you?
The number on my website is my cell phone. Goes directly to me.
Okay.
They can text me. They can visit the website, and there's a contact form on every page of the website.
Okay, and we have
Everything
the
comes through me.
website on the bottom of the screen, but can you tell us what it is? Is it
Sure. The old website, the one that we've been working with since ground zero, since day one, is www.trash-can-willys, WILLYS.com. The new website is the exact same thing minus the hyphens, www.trashcanwillys.com.
okay? And if they put in Trash Can Willys and Google removal,
I used to
it'll
own an internet
pop.
marketing company. Of course, we're right on top.
Exactly. That's perfect. So is there anything we haven't covered that the public should know about your company?
We do moving services, so I like to think that we're a one-stop shop for customers that might be looking to move locally. We don't do over-the-road moving, but we do handle local moves. And again, the cost saving kicks in, because when everybody moves, you want to purge. You want to get rid of stuff.
Exactly.
Right?
Because
So,
you're like, how did I end up with all of this?
yeah, exactly. Whether you're downsizing or upsizing, there's stuff that just isn't going to go. So we're the one-stop shop. Why have to deal in that time of confusion when you're uplifting your family, uprooting, moving somewhere else, and all the stress that goes along with that? Why not just call one company, deal with one company? They come in, they give you the very best rate that they can for the move itself, and then before we're even done and we're leaving, the same day you're getting rid of your junk and purging as well, and you don't have to deal with two companies, and you know you're getting the best value and saving as much as possible as well in these hard times.
So a lot of those companies require you to have things almost curbside for pickup. Do you require that?
No, not at all. Again, we go the extra mile. Our crews have been in crawl spaces and attics and, very... I'm making it sound great, but please bear in mind this is junk removal, and some
dirty.
jobs are very, very dirty and very gross. Refrigerators that have been unplugged with food in them for 3 weeks. Evictions to where, unfortunately, the pre-occupants had different vices, and there's syringes laying around in the property. I mean, you never know what you're going to stumble across. But
So your movers have extra training to handle those kind of situations?
yeah. All of our junk removal specialists are first trained in the art of moving. Prior to anything, most of the guys that I bring on board after extensive background checks and so on and so forth, I'll make sure that I'm hiring them from a similar industry, typically a moving company. The larger moving companies, I try to hire drivers and supervisors from other larger moving companies and bring them back to our scale and back to actually knowing the customer's name that you're dealing with instead of just treating them like another day, another dollar. So, but I think I just lost track of the initial question.
Oh, having the load ready by the curbside.
Yeah. So, yeah, the guys will go in and we remove it from anywhere on the property. If it's a broken
Is it extra?
down, no, we don't charge anything extra. That's part of the service. Some junk removal companies do it. Some larger ones don't. But we even go the extra mile to where, if there's we did a job maybe a month ago for a lady whose husband had passed away, and she had several larger trailers, some of them with flat tires, and in the back of the property, we went out. We also keep and recycle tires, so we've got plenty of tires in our warehouse. Went to the warehouse, found the tires that fit, put them on new rims, came back out, put them on the trailers, got the trailers pumped up with air, and pulled them out, and we ended up deciding that we could recycle the trailers, using one of them for internal jobs and selling the other one after we did a little bit of work to it, and she ended up paying nothing for the service.
Oh, that's great.
So, yeah, we will remove junk from garage, attics, basements, crawl spaces, wherever the junk's at. If it's in the middle of poison ivy, we'll probably ask you to call back during wintertime.
No. I had a fix-it grandfather that liked to do that, so
Yeah.
really would have been great if you were around when we had to clean up everything, because he just collected everything. And he
Trash
did
Can
use a
Willys
lot
would
of
have
it.
taken good care of you.
That's crazy. What form of payments do you take?
Everything.
Everything?
If you are moving, if you're in the process of moving, because unfortunately there are, shady people out there. We have been burned a few times on taking checks from people that are moving. So if you're moving, we prefer not to take a check. Otherwise, we take credit, debit cards from anyone, everyone. Cash, you can't beat cash. So yeah, pretty much every form. We even take PayPal. We took PayPal from a gentleman the other day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So the old car in the driveway or off in the front yard, you can pick up.
Yep, the car that's completely not being able to be moved. We have internal capabilities of removing, deserted, stranded, stray junk vehicles, your junk vehicle, to trailers, as I had just mentioned, to trucks, to pretty much everything and anything. The other month during the Christmas time, somebody's family had passed away, and they had an RV from the 1960s, and the thing was a massive paperweight It was, all 4 tires were popped. It was huge. It was massive. It had raccoons and squirrels living in it. It was like 30 yards behind the house. It had snowed. It was like 18 inches of snow, and we got it out of there.
Wow.
So we can pretty much handle it. You name it, we take it.
Even with the little critters?
Even with the little critters. We moved them. We did a move for them.
And another unique point about your company before we wrap up is that you donate a portion of your profits to Greenpeace.
That is dated information. We have begun donating so much to the Epilepsy Foundation. Last year, we probably gave them $50,000 worth of merchandise. The portion, we still do donate to local charities. It's not Greenpeace anymore, and it's now 10%. But we are still very involved with the community, as you can tell, just by, the different steps that we take. We try to be not only helping to our customers and the environment, but the community that we serve as well. So.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you for sharing so much about yourself and
Definitely,
your
it was a
company.
pleasure. Thanks for having us, and get out there and check out the new website. The new website's going to be up, and it's going to be heavily tied into social media. For people to help spread the word about the good service that we try to provide for the economy, for the local community, for people, for businesses. And the new website's also going to have listings of the upcycled and recycled items that are going to be available for purchase as well. So.
Oh, that'll be great.
Yeah.
And then once a week you have a sale at the warehouse.
Once a week we have a sale on Saturdays from typically 10 till 5, and that's at 516 Mammoth Road on the corner of Hall Road and Mammoth Road in North Londonderry.
Okay.
And it's huge. It's a lot of fun. We started a name.
Is it heated or
No,
dress warm?
unfortunately, we've got a couple propane heaters. Sometimes we serve popcorn for the kids that come through, but it's definitely adventure. We were originally going to name it Barnstormers, so if you Google Barnstormers, you will find it on Google, because we like the tag name, It's Always an Adventure, because it's always an adventure when you go there. You're going to get great stuff, surprising stuff like signed baseballs, autographed baseballs that people have come out of there with, like antiques that somebody got a 1930s Underwood typewriter antique out of there last week for like $15. I almost strangled the guy that sold it to him, but because it was worth quite a bit more. But yeah, it's definitely a fun time because you're like treasure hunting, and no matter what you find that you're gonna like it because you want to take it, and you're gonna get the best price you'll find anywhere.
So they can bargain for the prices too?
Yeah, that's part of the fun of it. Is,
bartering?
If you want to negotiate, if you want to barter, however you want to do it. But definitely people should come out and take a look at it because it's a really good time. It's something to do on a Saturday morning.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
All right.
We also just opened up a booth at Antiques on Elm, which is in Manchester. It's an antique store. We also have a booth there.
Oh, that's right on the main street.
Like that top hat that I was telling you about from the 1830s, that's there.
Oh, great.
And a couple other different, like we've got last week I found the first calculator ever made.
The first calculator ever made?
It's like this massive like metal thing from the 1920s, and that's really cool. That's there too, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
wicked.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's awesome, the stuff that I find. It's so fun.
That is. Wow. Kind of like Antiques Roadshow.
Yeah, like American Pickers, the only benefit is I don't have to pay for the stuff.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow, is there anything we forgot? You're licensed and insured.
Fully licensed, fully insured, and something that people should definitely take into consideration when they're shopping for junk removal companies is there's a ton of fly-by-night people out there, and you may be tempted to go to Craigslist. One of the guys that are doing junk removal off Craigslist or one of the companies that are fly-by-night. You definitely have to do your homework and make sure that these companies not only carry general liability insurance, but also workman's compensation. Because workman's compensation is very expensive in this industry because we're dealing with
Moving and, yeah.
very dangerous situations sometimes, carrying 500-pound pianos and refrigerators downstairs and stepping on nails. So workman's compensation is very expensive, and a lot of companies don't have it around here. And all they're doing is setting their customers up for a hit, because even though they might have general liability insurance, which covers if we drop a piano through a floor or something, or put it through a wall,
Right.
but it doesn't cover the workman's comp side of things. Whereas if somebody carrying that piano for the company gets injured, if they're not covered under workman's comp, they can sue the homeowner or the business owner.
Wow.
So definitely do your homework and follow up. Make sure that they carry workman's compensation insurance.
What if one of your guys puts something through a wall? Do you take care of that?
I do. We've got cleaning crews, number one, that can come in after we clean out like corporate spaces. And just to talk to our capacities really quickly, we've done corporate cleanouts of buildings the size of 85,000 square feet and gotten them done fast.
Wow.
We do, home foreclosure, eviction, cleanouts, bank-owned properties, and then the little old lady down the street.
How much notice do you need from customers to do jobs like that?
In our slow time, it depends. Whatever timetable they need to hit, we'll make sure we hit it. If I have to bring on part-timers to get the job done and, have them work extra hours, whatever we have to do to hit their timetables, typically I can get it to hit.
Okay. And when's the busy time of year? Summer?
The busy time of year is summer. It's best to call 2-3 days ahead of time. Larger cleanouts a week ahead of time. Slow time of the year is now, where people called this morning and I got them picked up later today.
Yeah, well, I suspect that it's probably because of the snow. They don't think it would be reasonable to have something removed at this time of year.
Yeah, and some customers are really courteous too. They'll call us on days, that it's snowing and ask, hey, are you guys still coming? We come rain, snow, sleet, shine, hot, cold, it doesn't matter, we're there. And something also I'd like to mention is I started this company with a Ford Explorer and my uncle's trailer.
Wow.
And it just goes to show you that if you want something, it's not something just in fairy tales. If you want something and you want it bad enough, you can get it. And if you want it bad enough, you'll go to any extreme to get it. I used to carry pianos and refrigerators by myself out of houses.
Wow.
With a Ford Explorer and a little trailer, and I'd go to the local dump, and I'd, manage to work something out to where the dumping costs were negligible, and people would be laughing because I'd be driving down the street like the Beverly Hillbillies.
But you're doing very well for yourself now.
Yeah, so I worked really hard, and if you want something and you want to accomplish it, you want to start your own business, don't think it's outside the realm of possibility, because it's really not that hard.
Right.
All it just takes is a little bit of effort. So.
Right, and even Trash Can Willys can be creative and fun, and
yeah,
it's like a fairy tale.
Yeah,
Treasure
it's
hunt
definitely
every
a fairy
day.
tale. It's my fairy tale.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure our viewers will be interested in all the things that you do. It's just simply amazing. So we wish you the best of luck.
Thanks for having me.
My
Definitely.
pleasure. Until next time, keep asking questions, because you never know. And double check all prices when you call different moving companies. And when you give Trash Can Willys a call, I suspect you're probably going to get one of the best deals out there.
And you might just hear me talk like this.
Until next time.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.